For most of us, there's two things to know about the NFL right now. One, Tom Brady's really good. And two, the Cleveland Browns, they're really bad. But I started to think about it, why have the Browns actually been this bad? Well, a big reason, and not the only reason, they have a lot of reasons, but a big reason has been their quarterback play. They haven't really had a good quarterback or a franchise quarterback in maybe since Bernie Kosar? So I started to think, how could we actually fix that? Could we actually make the Cleveland Browns a legit NFL team? Now, as a Steelers fan, that kind of pains me, but I feel like this is a project that I'm up to fixing. And if there's one player in the NFL that has pretty much done it all and won it all and has nothing left to prove, it's Tom Brady. So what if we took Tom Brady, put him on the Cleveland Browns, and then gave him 2 seasons? We said, okay, the first season, kind of a wash. We'll see how many games he can actually win. But the second season, we'll draft him some players. We'll go through free agency. Maybe we'll bring some of his old players back, and we'll see, can Tom Brady win a Super Bowl with the Cleveland Browns? Let's find out. Now look, I don't want to cheat at all, so we're going to make this a fair trade. I'm going to make sure that Madden actually accepts the trade. So we have Tom Brady for the Patriots. On the left side over here, we have the Cleveland Browns. We have Joe Thomas, which, you know what, Joe Thomas has been in the Browns his entire life. He deserves to go to an organization that maybe can win some games, even if their best player is leaving. We also have Christian Kirksey and the #1 overall pick. The Browns actually have 2 #1 picks, basically in the first round next year. They have the #1 overall, and then they have the number 14 roughly, depending on how another team actually does. So that way, they still have a first round pick and we can keep moving. Now, will they accept the trade? We're going to submit it, and we're in business. Now, because we traded Christian Kirksey, we kind of have to fill in his position. So we're going to go after Jelani Jenkins, who can be a decent role player for us and fill in his spot at least for the first season. Because Joe Thomas is also gone, we're going to sign a left tackle to fill in his spot as well. So we're going to bring in Ladrian Waddle. What a name. What a guy. And then also, because you know what, Tom Brady needs more weapons, we're going to bring in Dorial Green Beckham. Yes, Dorial Green Beckham, welcome to the Browns. So yes, it's weird, it's kind of crazy, but Tom Brady is now a member of the Cleveland Browns. So he'll be starting at quarterback. At running back, we're going to have Isaiah Crowell. Fullback, we're going to have Vitali. At wide receiver, here's what we've got. Kenny Britt, Josh Gordon, Corey Coleman, Sammy Coates, Doyle Green Beckham, and Kason Williams. To be honest, in Madden, this is actually not a bad lineup, but we'll see what Tom Brady can do with it. Now that we have Tom Brady officially on the Cleveland Browns, we made a couple of roster moves. It is time to sim this first season. Let's just see how bad or how good it actually ends up being.
3 hours later.
We finished the regular season, and you know what? 5-11. I actually thought we would have won like 2 or 3 games, so Tom Brady kind of is an improvement because they won 5 games. I mean, these are the Cleveland Browns we're talking about. And if you're wondering how the Patriots did without Tom Brady, well, not very good, but it was still good enough to actually win their division at 7-9, which is strange. Oddly enough, Tom Brady didn't really have that bad of a season. I mean, this dude had 29 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions, threw for over 4,000 yards, but what did his supporting cast do? The Browns did have a 1,000-yard rusher in Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, even Tom Brady ran for 200 yards? That's okay. Okay, Tom, I see you. Josh Gordon is back in the NFL. Look what he actually did. Not 1,000 yards in the year, which is a little disappointing, but still almost 800 yards. Only got 5 receiving touchdowns. David Njoku actually played well. Corey Coleman stepped it up with 7 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards, leading us pretty much in total receiving yards. Kenny Britt, who I really want to get rid of ASAP, didn't do too bad. And Isaiah Crowell and the rest of the guys did okay. Sammy Coates, though, he's got to do better than that. But still, 2 of his 8 catches were for a touchdown, so I mean, he can't be doing that bad. And defensively, I'm kind of impressed because we have this dude, Joe Schobert, who's like a 68 overall or 67 overall, who had 143 tackles. Jabril Peppers actually played really well too, so there's a little bit of something here with his defense. And for those of you that thought that Tom Brady going to the Cleveland Browns was actually weird, don't worry, it gets weirder. Look who won the Super Bowl. Andy Dalton and the Bengals. We've really screwed up the NFL. We've officially hit free agency and there is a ton of money to spend. Look at this, 59.6 million funds, technically 52.5 million for our cap room. And look who's the #1 free agent right now, Le'Veon Bell. I think we're going to make some moves. Even though I really tried and I tried to overpay like crazy for Le'Veon Bell, he just said forget it and he went to the Buffalo Bills. So I get it, a cold city, just a different cold city. He didn't want to stay in the division, but Le'Veon Bell goes to the Bills, Drew Brees goes to Washington. Now in terms of my signings though, we picked up Brent Grimes, 87 overall cornerback, Dante Moncrief, a good wide receiver with good speed, Mo Claiborne, Paul Richardson, another wide receiver. Again, I want to make sure that Tom Brady has as many weapons as humanly possible, especially if somebody gets injured. And then our last pickup was Van Noy as our right outside linebacker. That'll give me at least some depth there, but I got to get a middle linebacker because everybody in free agency said, no, we're not signing with you, so maybe we'll get a rookie for that position. Now, if you remember, we traded the #1 overall pick, which I think there actually could have been somebody probably close to an 80 or 82 overall if we hadn't traded that. But again, we got Tom Brady. This is all for the experiment. So to recap the draft, we got Willis Steele at free safety, 74 overall, a 76 wide receiver, a 77 middle linebacker in round number 2. That's a big pickup because we need that position because we literally have no one there. A good halfback that's fast. We've got Ross Gray, another free safety. We've got Dundrecius Johnson Jr., one of the craziest names I think I've ever seen. 76 overall middle linebacker. So 2 good middle linebackers that'll be #1 and #2 in our depth chart from day 1. A right end, quarterback they absolutely missed on, which again, the joke, the Cleveland Browns, they always miss on quarterbacks. And then after that, it was actually a pretty solid draft. So we're going to see what these guys can do, get them in the depth chart, and then we'll see what our holes are going into this next season. A player that I've wanted to get rid of for a while now as well is Kenny Britt. Kenny Britt is horrible. He can't catch. He's bad juju on this team, and I feel like Tom Brady just doesn't want him on the squad. So we actually did a trade with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we got Ron Parker. So an 84 overall Ron Parker because they need a wide receiver for Kenny Britt. I'll do that trade every single day. To quickly recap our depth chart, again, Tom Brady's the #1 quarterback with Deshaun Kaiser backing him up. We go to halfback, we have Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson Jr. At fullback, we just have a backup tight end because I doubt we're going to use the fullback that much. At wide receiver, though, this is where I'm happy. We got Josh Gordon, Dante Moncrief, Corey Coleman, Lindsey Jeffrey, one of the rookies we picked up, who's actually got really good speed at 93 speed, 96 acceleration. Sammy Coates, and then David Njoku is going to back all them up there. At tight end, Njoku is obviously starting for us. Our offensive line is pretty solid. Our defensive line is led by none other than Myles Garrett. Jamie Collins is now a 90 overall. Alan Dixon's going to start at middle linebacker for us, and he's a 79 overall. I got a feeling he's going to increase pretty quickly, though. Jelani Jenkins is our right outside linebacker. And then in corner, we now have Brent Grimes, Jamar Taylor, Jason McCourty, Mo Claiborne, and Buddy Calhoun. So I feel like this is a good team top to bottom. Oh, and let's not forget that we just added Ron Parker, and then at strong safety we have Jabril Peppers, who's getting pretty good in his own right. Remember, in the first season we went 5-11. Our goal was just to get into the playoffs, but I think this team could actually reach the conference championship. I don't know if they can actually get that far, but let's find out. Before we jump into the regular season record and just how we did basically, I want to show you guys the stats. So let's look at this. Tom Brady threw for 4,400 yards, but only 21 touchdowns. 7 interceptions is low, but 21 touchdowns is it? That's strange for Tom Brady. Now, Isaiah Crowell did run for 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons for us, 13 rushing touchdowns. Duke Johnson got 9. This is okay. This is not bad. Tom Brady ran for 1, Long Terrell ran for 2, and then we've got Randall Telfer who also ran for 1. When we look at our receivers, this is where I'm really happy. Look at how good these guys are. We had 2 1,000-yard receivers. Corey Coleman went for 1,000, and then Josh Gordon went for 1,000 too. Josh Gordon only had 3 touchdowns, but again, Tom Brady only threw for 21 somehow, which I literally don't understand how that happened. But Dante Moncrief goes for 800, and Njoku goes for 800. I've already talked about Coleman and Gordon. Lindsey Jeffrey, our rookie, went for 331 and 5 receiving touchdowns. He's actually second on the team, only behind Njoku. On defense, the stud that we drafted, the middle linebacker, look at his stats. 137 tackles, which I think is actually slightly lower than the 68 overall, but we'll look past that right now. 2 sacks for him. Strong safety Marvin Forrest played well as a rookie. I'm actually impressed with how well this team did. Jamie Collins Jr. and Myles Garrett combined for 24 sacks on the season. And then Jason McCourty and Ron Parker both went for 3 interceptions each. The Browns defense was legit, but what was our record? I'm legit blown away. The Browns had the 2nd best record in the NFL behind the Atlanta Falcons. And we all know they blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. So I feel like this team is good. The Browns win 12-4. This is unbelievable. 7 road wins and 1 road loss. 5 home wins. I mean, the Browns would be a team that wins more on the road than they do at home, but still, 12 wins. We're in the playoffs. And somehow the Browns going 12-4 looks like no one on the MVP list, which, you know what, that's crazy. But if we go over here to the Coach of the Year, of course, I was going to say, if they didn't give Hugh Jackson Coach of the Year for going 12-4 with the Browns, they're crazy. The Browns making the playoffs is crazy in its own right, but now it's time to see what they can actually do. And look who we're playing. The Buffalo Bills in the first round of the playoffs for us, or technically the second round. Remember when Le'Veon Bell didn't sign with us and he went to the Bills? Now it's Tom Brady's chance to try and make a pace. So we're going to sim this. We're going to see how they do. Fingers crossed. The Browns actually beat the Bills. Remember when Le'Veon Bell said, you know what, screw Cleveland, I'm gonna go to Buffalo, an even colder city than Cleveland. Well, you're out of the playoffs now. And we're gonna see in the conference championship if we can actually beat them. So we're gonna sim this. We're gonna show you guys the real time, so you know I'm not cheating here. The Browns lost 24-14. Even though the Browns lost, Tom Brady gave the Cleveland Browns their very first playoff win, and I literally have no idea, but it has to be a really long time. So the question was, can Tom Brady save the Cleveland Browns? Well, the answer to that is you can bet your bank account on it. If you guys enjoyed this type of video and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe. I have plenty more of these coming. Make sure you guys crush the like button. Let's go for like 500 likes in today's video. Check the playlist on the screen right now for more videos just like this one, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.